good enough. Well, those people couldn't be here, I'd grab me something for them, so they'll have to work. Just don't let me forget it, cause it works. Andy says, be here in 3. Alright, then we'll get going and chug through the stuff we have to chug through. Yep. Anybody else brought, okay, 1 caffeination, 2. He didn't bring real caffeination. Got coffee in that thing?
On sweet tea.
It's weak.
On too sweet to drink in your nose.
Aww.
Mary, you've known me how many years? You know
Full of crap,
I'm.
John.
This shit is getting deep in here.
Yeah. There you go, that.
We were talking about the Jeffersonville Fire Convention when we were kids the other day.
Jack, where?
When I pushed your dad in the pool.
It might have happened that day. The Jeffersonville Fire Convention when we were youngsters.
So like
IVFA.
horse-drawn carriages? or-
Right before that,
Before that,
Right
okay,
before that.
awesome, awesome.
right before dirt was discovered,
Before
and
dirt?
the stone was being chiseled.
Getting smacked.
So my dad spent 47 years on his volunteer department. He's still there often, but when I go up north and I run into folks, if it's anybody that's like from the volunteer fire service, I like, yeah, I'm related to Mike Bell. I'm like the old short guy looks like me from Cherry Grove. Oh, that guy, yeah. So I can appreciate the old. I may have, when I was that tall, ridden to some calls and kind of see the truck.
Back when we could.
Back when you could do all kinds of fun shit.
Yep.
Back when the pop machine was half pop and half beer. Yeah.
Maybe half pop.
1/3, 2/3. All right, well, we'll take care of a couple of things while we're waiting for everybody else.
Parking lot and Buster just pulled in.
Yeah, he said 3 minutes. We're getting cool in the world, at least we're trying to, and this is a little thing that this is just a thanks, but at the same time, there's some rules to go with this. So we're gonna talk about those because they're kind of important.
Won't get very far with just one.
Yes. Well, no. Well, it depends on which one it is.
There's only one rule, no rules.
Oh,
drink
there's
chip.
plenty of rules.
Micah brought beer.
What's that? What's that?
It's a drink chip, Micah brought beer.
No, actually, I have some. I still
Ow,
have
heart
some.
attack.
I have some VFW ones still somewhere at home from V and Porter. So you know the rules. I know you know the rules.
I don't know the rules.
You probably know. The
I
rules.
may or may not know the
And
rules.
you don't think rules apply to you. So
They don't.
hey, where's the rest of your? Tell me you brought the budget and the checkbook and the.
I've got a picture of the statement.
God!
What more do you need?
I have receipts I have to give you. My wife is gonna kill me. Already is killing me. Shit, she's gonna give me shit tonight when she gets home. All right. So anyway, just a little thanks. I know over the last year or two, there's been some other swag. Oh, there's one thing. I can get yours in a few minutes. There's been some other swag I've passed out, but when we had a board meeting here a week or so ago, or a month or two ago, month and a half ago, I don't know. I had one of these. It's not the nice big heavy duty metal ones because those are expensive, but it's pretty close enough. So just a little thanks. So it's a uniform item you better have with you. Otherwise, you have to take care of the Otherwise, you have to take care of the after training stuff. Not that we ever do that much, but one of these days there will be something. And so when we got these, we got 50. So for those people who help us out or whatever, if we're on a call or a training or somebody who's going out of their way to help you do this, let us know so we can hook them up. A couple folks that couldn't be here tonight will be getting these as well. So just like a regular challenge coin, as a thank you, maybe someday we'll be able to actually afford real ones. So anyway, so thanks from the board, from those of us who've been doing this for a while. It's a little token, and, we'll collect it. Start collecting. So we're here tonight because the bylaws say so. We're supposed to have a business meeting like once a quarter or something, which is one of the things we need to talk about. And it was pointed out by one of the guys who couldn't be here tonight that we really need to get our poop in our group on that, so that we are consistent with what we're supposed to be doing. So the board met maybe a month and a half ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, and we talked through a whole bunch of things. And I'll pull it up. We do have a actual somewhat agenda. One of the agenda topics I sent out today. If you got a chance to look at it, awesome. If not, that's fine. We'll talk through it here. Here we go. So, let's see. One of the things that we're supposed to do yearly, or it's like every other, is appointment of business officers. So we are, and if anybody asks, we started the official business meeting at 6:05 PM. We are a not-for-profit corporation in the state of Indiana. So because of that, you have to have, just so you have a bank account and we can apply for grants and stuff, you have to have bylaws and jazz like that. When we had our current bylaws made, it's probably a bit overzealous in some of the stuff that went into them. But one of the things we are supposed to do is have a business meeting, and it's been so long that we definitely need to appoint or reappoint or whatever up to the body, the business officers. So the business officers are myself as the president, Jay as the vice president, Andy Jr. is the treasurer, and McIntyre is the secretary. And that's the way it is because we were like the first four that got this thing going back in 2014. And in order to get things going and whatnot, that's the way it was. In the one really decent business meeting we had since then, we were reappointed, but we are well outside of that window, and we need to address that again.
I make a motion that we keep the officers we got.
I'll second.
Of course, the secretary's not here to write all this crap down. Thank you. The treasurer is.
We need to take a quick pause.
Good call.
Okay. Motion by Mary,
M-A-R-Y.
second by Trish.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a and
Okay.
by the way, we are not 100% bound to Robert's Rules of Order. We took that line out of the bylaws, but we mostly follow them just for good ideas. So anyway, so we have a motion by Mary to keep the executive board the way it is, seconded by Trish. Any discussion on that? Anybody really want to get involved and do some of that? That's kind of.
Nope, moving on. All in favor?
Okay. Anybody opposed?
Notice why you got a motion so quick? They didn't even wanna listen to you talk about it.
I know, right? Well, that's good. Maybe we'll get done quick, cause I forgot to feed the dogs. Okay, so all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Awesome, okay. That's done. So one of the things that we need to do better on is, letting you guys know where we stand with the budget. So Andy is our treasurer. He does have a snapshot, of what we have in the bank right now. Some of that though needs to be paid back out. There's a, stack of receipts right here, and, we might owe some money to Nassar for a class that I don't think they billed us for. So, but that's not that big of a deal. So, Mr. Treasurer, can you tell us what is sitting in the bank?
So currently, we are at $8,152.62.
Okay. So there's yearly, there's about three things that we straight up, we know we're gonna be facing right now when it comes to paying out. First is the vehicle insurance, and that is through an agreement that we have with Porter Fire Department, or Porter Fire, Volunteer Firefighters, Inc. Alright, so it's kind of a lease back kind of deal, so that's about $600. I think that was the right number, Jay?
Is it 600 or was it 600?
Or it might have been was, I think.
I think
maybe
we're
it
at
was out.
800 now.
It was 800, yeah. So it's about 800. When we got the 2012 Tahoe from South Haven, that did raise the insurance rates, which I would hope so, because it was like almost a 10-year newer vehicle with way less miles on it. The other thing is the vehicle registration. So we register the Tahoe. The trailer is supposed to be registered and is owned by the hospital coalition. So technically they plate that, and I say technically because I don't think they've actually given us the registration stickers in the last couple of years. But you know, that's like less than $100 or something like that. The third thing that we do pay out, but the last couple of years has been paid for us, or at least we've received a donation for, is our Sartopo subscription. For the 25 users that we pay for, that's $250. The last several years, one of our supporting fire departments has made a donation to cover that, which is awesome. So technically it's a budget item, but it's usually covered. There are some future things that we might have to look at, and we'll talk about that here in a few minutes when we hit new business. But that's about it. Other things that we've had to spend money on, we did have to buy a new battery for the Tahoe. That was about $250. Most of our expenses have been pretty minor. The last handful of things we bought were actually from my beard shave. I don't think we really spent any of the money yet from the chili cook-off. And that's about that. So we're sitting okay, because, well, we really haven't taken everything out a lot, so we haven't really broke a lot, which is good. So that's that. So everybody knows when it does come down to spending stuff, even when we put the new battery in the Tahoe, there was a four-way chat conversation going between me and Jay and Buster and McIntyre, to make sure we were all good on that. Even when we bought these, it was like, hey guys, is this a good idea? Yes, ordered. So there's no really way that anybody can spend our money without several of us being in the loop. Hell, I don't even have the checkbook or debit card.
Goodness.
So you talked to my wife. No, actually, usually these guys come up with better ways to spend money than I do. So, one of the things that we need to talk about for future budgeting, is liability insurance. So, one of the ways that we're able to make this team function is sponsoring by most of you guys from your departments, okay? If you look at the application process, you know, there's two forms, the county one and the district one. The county one is basically the district one with a few words change. But the key thing on there is sponsorship by your VFD. Now, there are just a handful of folks that are not VFD or me EMA sponsored because of the special skill sets or the dogs they bring to the party, okay? We are looking at trying to get some sort of a liability insurance that for the non-sponsored folks would cover them, and would be in addition to any insurance that you already have covering you by your sponsoring agency. So the one time ever that we've had anybody get hurt on a call out, Joey, was
Fence was this tall.
at the time he was there in the on-duty status with the VFD that sponsored him at the time. So when he got hurt, they covered it up.
It was great.
Well, and that's good, but, you know, for workers' comp, but honestly, when you guys look at some of the stuff that we do and how we are influencing a search with the PD and whatnot, we actually probably need some management liability insurance as well, and a few other things. So, we had this discussion at the board meeting. We started looking into stuff. Jay went to, insurance company in town in Porter and gave them our info, and they farmed it out to everybody they deal with, including VFIS, who insures many volunteer fire departments and SAR teams. But they wouldn't touch us because we don't have the government sponsorship for the whole organization. So probably what happened, this is our thinking, is, you know, you can only sue a government agency or you know, a town, city, county for so much. So we're thinking what happens, maybe VFIS got hosed because one of the all volunteer, 100% 501c3 type volunteer sergeants they covered probably lost their shit, and they probably had to pay out the wazoo. Since then, I have found another insurance company that I spoke with. They're out of the East Coast, but the local rep for them is actually a retired Fort Wayne battalion chief. We had a good 30-minute chat on the phone one day. I explained everything. I explained why we were trying to do what we were doing. They sent me an application, it's like 15 pages. I haven't even started to look at it because I've been too busy. So there's still some possibility, but we'll see. So there's some options that we're trying to sort out, because it really all comes down to making sure that we protect you as individuals and us as an organization. As a not-for-profit organization in the state of Indiana, we really don't have a whole hell of a lot. So if someone were to come after us, well, we don't have a lot to get as an organization, so that's when they probably start going, ooh, your name is on the bottom of that piece of paper, I'm suing you. And I personally haven't found any individual liability insurance that would cover me for being a SAR manager, so if anybody knows of anything, let me know. I found stuff for EMS, I found stuff even for my incident management stuff in the park. I haven't found anything that covers this. So, you know, we just gotta be careful. So one of the things that's gonna come out of that, and I totally forgot to print these, damn it, is we have had an attorney do some pro bono work who's put together a individual liability waiver for us. His wife is actually a canine handler. He's a lawyer out of Indianapolis. So I'll end up having to send this to everybody. I meant to print them, but I got slammed at the end of the day. It basically says that we're gonna hold each other harmless. So if something happens to you and I'm in charge, you're not gonna come get me, or Porter County Search and Rescue Inc. or Porter County EMA who sponsors me or whatever. It's a pretty legit thing. It's actually fairly basic too. Can't believe you had to be a lawyer to put it together, but it's just one more way to protect what we're doing and keep us moving in the direction we're going. We've done a lot of amazing things since our first call out in January of 2015, and this is just one way to continue to grow the organization and protect us so that we can go do more good things for more people. So I guess what I'll have to do is email out this waiver. If you need to get a hard copy, if you can't print it, I can actually make it so you can sign it virtually with a PDF. I can do that. So I'll make it so you can digitally sign it, either like with your finger on a tablet or something, or digitally in your computer, and then return those to us, and we'll get one of those from everybody. Okay, is that good? Questions on that?
What was the name of the insurance company from Fort Wayne?
It is. They're not. He's an agent for him in Fort Wayne, but I think they're actually out of New York. Let's see here. The insurance.
Much quieter on your guys' frequency.
Well, it's because we got that dial set on one. Trust me, she's not that quiet in the station.
You can definitely tell she's Craig.
Oh, is that Angel?
Yeah.
She's getting a little bit softer.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay,
She's looking some more boring.
I'll have to find the name and so we
Okay.
can put it into the notes. It's buried in an email. When I search the term liability insurance in my Gmail, I get hundreds of things, so
Yeah.
it'll take me a few, but I'll get you the name so we can get it in the notes. But really good dude to talk to. He gets it. When I explained to him the district stuff and, you know, how we go to different places he understood that, which I think helps a lot. And then we'll kind of go from there. So that's that topic. So that's insurance, liability, some bylaws. So like I said, our bylaws say we're supposed to do this like once a quarter. I don't think we can get enough people together once a quarter to have a quorum to do anything. So, there's a few other things in the current bylaws, that the board it recommends that we move out of bylaws and move them into SOGs, cause those can just be fixed or adjusted on the fly as necessary with the consensus of the board. So one of those, potentially membership categories. You know, like I said, when we started this, it was based on everybody being sponsored by a fire department or whatever. When Jan came to us, which was I think the last time we actually had a real business meeting, so it's been a while, we did make a new membership category, and we called it reserve member. And the concept there was gonna be, not everybody off the street, but people who've got skills or something that we can seriously use. Like you came with your risk management, your Canadian experience.
Politeness is not an experience.
No. I think he told me F you one time. I know, right? Herb here, has got a dog. We got another canine hammer who's hiding in the back. All right, well,
Awful quiet.
I know, right? I know.
Drive?
And then we've got a couple other people that are in that reserve member status. And we literally reserved that just for folks in those special circumstances that have a skill set or something that we need that aren't sponsored. I think we need to continue with that, and until we sort out the liability insurance though, once that's sorted, then maybe we could start looking at more off the street folks. We probably get maybe 4 or 5 people a year, and it's usually after a search or after some really popular Facebook post who are like, I wanna join your team, I wanna do this and that, but they're just folks off the street. So they got great intentions, they wanna go do good things, maybe they've got outdoors experience or whatever, but they're not sponsored in any way. Now, some of those people actually will start a conversation, others, when we say, please send us an email, then they don't even do that, so that's probably a sign we don't want them anyway. But in order to continue to grow and keep doing what we're doing, the board recognizes that we've got to, make concessions for that, but the key to that is the liability insurance. Or some sort of double waiver, or, you know, an individual has to get their own insurance and it has to do this, this, and this, so we'll see, that's still in the works. That's gonna take a little bit. But we definitely need your guys' input on some of that. I think where we're at right now, the ability to stick with select members of the public coming to us with those skill sets and getting at that reserve is good. One of the things that we do need to take a look at with membership categories is in the bylaws, it talked about probationary period, and then you get voted in. Well, that requires enough people to show up and do a business meeting. So a probationary period is good, but we'll probably just have to adjust the wording, so that the board plus whoever, you know, maybe the designated field team leaders can, if they're all in agreement, can bring them in or something like that. But again, that's gonna take input. One of the things that we talked about, and I did send you guys a draft of it today, so if you didn't see it, check your email when you get home, is a draft of a training requirement SOG. We never had anything on that in the bylaws, but as we're moving things from bylaws into SOGs, that would be one of the things we'd wanna look at. It is a draft, and as the discussion I had with one of the members who couldn't be here tonight was, it's kinda based on what we're already doing to some degree. With, you know, bringing people in from public safety, they've already got ICS 100, 200, 300, or 700, 800, probably first aid CPR, a baseline public safety training or something. So the SAR team training SOG is built on that. And it's kind of based on some ones I got from some other folks. there's a, hey, in your first 6 months, we want you to do this. You get that done, great. Your next 6 months, want you to do this. The second portion's got the word should used in it a couple places, because some of it is just not always gonna be doable. And some folks, it's not gonna be for them. It's broken down into field team members, so those who are gonna pack up, truck through the woods, find the little old man in the drainage ditch and haul his ass out. There's a part for people who are gonna serve as SAR managers and run the search. And then there's a part where it talks about those people who are just gonna serve in a support role and not go in the woods. So that there's some targeted training for everything. Cause if we're not shooting for something, then we're not gonna hit anything. And then when we say, yeah, but we really need you to have some training, the answer will be, well, why? It's not in the policies. So take a look at that, and it's a draft policy. My intention is once we get some consensus and some more input on it, that we put it in place within the next month. And then anything that you don't have on there yourself, get chugging. So just like a new person coming in, try to get those first few things done in the 6 months, which I think everybody's probably got anyway, and then shoot for the rest after that. It's a guide. Some of it is based on FEMA's resource typing for land search and rescue teams and technicians. There is a FEMA guide for that to some degree. Some of it references back to NASAR stuff, and NASAR and FEMA are referencing the same standards. So a couple places in that training guideline, SOG, it references NASAR courses, partially because we can teach those, okay? So that's easy as well. So take a look at that. I need feedback. I've already got some feedback. Neil, you gave me some, I appreciate that. I did modify it to indicate which trainings are available online, so you can do it at your own pace. Then I also added a modifier, like double asterisks, for which ones we can do in-house, so you don't have to go finding them. And that helps quite a bit as well. So any questions on that?
Is there a copy of the bylaws somewhere?
It should be a copy of the bylaws in the stuff everyone should know folder on Google. I will so what I'll do, I'll put it in band as a document in there, because then I know everybody can see it. I'm trying to pull some of those documents out of Google, because a lot of people still have access to our Google Drive that haven't been part of the team. So I'll put the current version of the bylaws in band. Bylaws today. And then you can see them, take a look at them, download them at your leisure. And then provide input. So we're gonna try to get that wrapped up sooner or later too. Now that will, and we do need to do, I'd like to do the vote now. Well, hold on, let me table that thought to myself. One other thing that we're looking at for the bylaws, it's not really in there, it probably should have been, but we wanna push it into an SOG anyway, is attendance. So last 2 years, I have been tracking who shows up. Both on call-outs, through a Google form, which serves as our run report, and another Google form for training. And I pushed those links out, especially the training one, bunches of times, to include the statement that says, if there's anything else that you do on your fire department, your daytime job, any other training you go to that supports our mission, go ahead and put it in there, all right? This last year, we had like 550 hours. I know it was more because a lot of the canine training didn't get documented. The year before, it was like 800 some odd hours, which is really not bad. That's pretty goddamn good. Of course, some of that's because a couple of us got suckered into some multiple 40-hour training events that we put in. But attendance requirements, we kind of want to make that a thing. And this is where we definitely need you guys' input. Matt, come on, Matt. I got a chair for you right here, buddy.
I thought you took my name off the list. When you gotta work, you gotta work.
Well, I knew that's where you were. It's all good. So attendance requirements. We have had some discussions on this with the board and put in our 2 cents, but we need your guys'. We've all been on an organization where same people show up all the time, and some people we don't see, some people we see more often. Some people just wanna make calls, some people just wanna make training. We need a good mix of everything so that we can keep going. When people ask me how many people we have on the team, I can say we have 25 on the roster. then some people will give me that look and I'll be like, and I see half of them regular. So what do you guys think needs to be an attendance requirement for training and or call-outs? Recognizing we've all got day jobs and lives.
Did you say lives or wives?
Those two,
Speak for yourself.
wives and girlfriends, or both, or neither.
None of the above. Well, personally, I think for, call-outs, it's hard to put
Yep.
a requirement on that, because they all can just end up being during the day, they're so
Yep.
few and frequent.
No kidding.
But-
Which last year was our record, by the way, 17.
Which feels like we haven't been on a call in years.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Said it feels
Son
like
of
we
a
haven't been on a
bitch.
call. I enjoy doing it, I don't care. I got nothing going on tomorrow.
Neither do I, actually.
Okay then, see?
Actually, they only happen when you're working.
Yeah.
Know it.
And that's fine,
Are you done?
and we recognize that.
Are you working right now, Mary?
No.
Oh, see, that was good.
See?
Yeah, we're good.
Let's have
We're
one.
good for the night.
I got the wrong dog.
And I recognize that too. And so like literally, when I go to do the report, Google form, if anybody even clicked that they were in or out, even if they didn't make it, cause we got disregarded, man, you got credit, rock on.
Oh,
Thank you for pushing the button and saying at least you were on your way. You extended ETA or whatever, you know, coming off of work, coming from, cause hey, that's something. But, yeah, I think for call-outs, it's hard to do, you know. It would probably be best maybe just to start just with the training meeting side, and then if it gets to be a problem down the road, just address it, maybe one-on-one, I don't know. Ideas? You guys don't want me to just make shit up?
Training, you 2 months, right?
Yep.
2 months, so you talking 24 trainings a year?
Yeah, you know, well, I mean, we usually end up,
Give or take, yeah.
give or take, it's probably closer to 20. We end up having to cancel something here or there, you know, holidays, get goofy, we'll nuke one around Christmas. Usually the second one
Right.
in December, we would nix that, cause it's right before Christmas.
Well, I think the goal, when we had that meeting of what do we wanna train on, and we decided, you know, the days,
Yep.
the goal was to do one training,
The-
make 1 month, or 1 day.
It was,
Did
when we
two
did
trainings,
that,
but it was
Right.
one,
It
make
was
one
the
of the
same.
other.
make
Right.
one,
It was
yeah,
the same
and
for
so
the
what
month.
we did there is we did a little analysis of when all the VFDs had their meetings. And when we would get the most, when were people technically available the most? And the consensus out of doing that, we literally put it all into a calendar, was, the first Sunday, and Sundays had already proven to work for us in the past. And then that third Tuesday, cause the only person that had something that Tuesday was Paul Ritchie, at the time. Still, and Chief lets him skip sometimes. Cause he's coming to us, which makes sense anyway, since they sponsor you to the team, that maybe they'll even give you credit. So that's how we got there, and then yes, the request at the time was try to at least make one, with the intent of trying to do the same thing on Sunday as it was on Tuesday. Now, trying to do the same thing twice a month, it lasted about 6 months. And then realized that we could do something, but we couldn't always do the same thing twice a month due to the time of day, availability of people to do it or whatever. So that's kind of how we got to where we are now. So where do we wanna go with that for future? Cause here's the thing, guys, we can't have people just be on the roster, having equipment and not participate.
Do we wanna look at an hour thing or an event thing? Like we should have 20 hours of community or of continuing education here, or we need to attend 6 trainings?
Or do you wanna make it task
Or
specific?
6 trainings with a combined of 20 hours, or,
So here's the thing with that. Who's documenting all this crap? This guy. It's gotta be something easy. Either that or somebody's gotta actually start, besides me, putting training into the tractor.
What if we did like on Sunday, we did like field work, since we do that earlier, and on that Tuesday, it's something, you know, or we can be at the MAC in the Bay,
Well,
or
but in the
computer.
summer months, we can do the same thing on a Sunday as we do on a Tuesday. due to
But in the
something.
winter, it's kind of hard.
Yeah,
well,
winter's
and
different.
Sundays are harder than canine people because.
Right.
Especially for Elizabeth, we hold a training in our morning going and
Right.
coming back for team training. I really don't like going home and then coming back out of the house.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little easier when there's at least time to sit at home and relax for a little
Yeah,
while,
yeah,
but when you gotta
yeah.
go home and turn around and grab some food and go back out, you're.
But I think we've gotta do something, otherwise, we're gonna continue with, like, and I'll tell you, I know some people don't like using that band app, but when you go in there and you RSVP, or you say, nope, I'm not making it, that makes it easier for me to set up a training for 5 people, when I know 5 people are showing up, instead of set something up for 15, and then I only get 5. Cause there's a lot of damn work that goes into some of that stuff. So, it's the same thing with attendance. I can put everything into it, and we can do some really awesome shit that we haven't even touched yet. Or we can keep chugging along with what we're doing, training 4 or 5 people at a time. I don't know about you, but I want more is gooder. But then it takes participation. Now, I know people got jobs, shit comes up, like we had 2 people today say, hey, I got called into work. No problem. Oh shit,
Well,
is that
part of
recording?
the-
It is.
Part of the thing too is the way the rotation falls. This is again why I'm hesitant to make a requirement on it. The way the rotation falls is when you do it on the second or whatever, however we're doing it, first Sunday, second Tuesday or whatever. It
Every other
actually
Monday.
falls on the same duty crew that's working the Sunday, they're working the Tuesday.
No shit.
Yeah, so if it's their duty day on the Sunday, it's their duty day. And last year, and I don't know if it's still going, it was on, I think it was all 3 of their crews.
On this day.
That Joey couldn't be there, Mary couldn't be there, and Buster couldn't be there, because every training day was
No
on a duty
shit.
day. But if you look at the rotation, if they're working the Sunday, they can't make the Tuesday.
Wow,
That's good to know.
yeah. So we need to move one of those,
Which, like he said, it's still on his duty day.
one of them left or right. Probably be easy, well, I don't know, which one will be easiest to move?
I personally think, and again, it should be our busier season, but we're getting, I think as a team, we need to come together and we need to train more. But we just need to do it. Part of the reason we went to 2 days a week and saying you can make one is we're trying to accommodate everybody. But it's the same thing with the fire service. You guys know, every Monday night's your training day. Let's just say every X day is our training day. And we are taking the responsibility to meet on every X day. So if we do a Sunday, I know, I don't care if it's a Sunday, I know we're canine training that day, so I can either adjust canine training in advance so it can lead into SAR training or cancel canine training. Or we do it on a Tuesday, or a Sunday morning, or whatever, but let's just say we're going to do it on this day every month. And we, as responsible responders, are going to make that commitment to make those
But
days
that's what
we're
we've
not
been
working.
doing for the last year plus, saying it's always the first Sunday, it's always the first.
Yeah, but
Tuesday.
it's getting broken up. If, I would rather see us say
Yeah.
since, especially in the beginning, the whole reason we went to 2 days a week was to offer the same training twice a month,
Yeah.
to try to accommodate everybody. And that didn't work.
Yeah,
And it's still not working. We're getting 3 people at this training and 3 people at this training, and sometimes they're the same 3 people. I would rather see us, that didn't work. I would rather see us pick a day. And I think to best accommodate us so we don't meet with our fire departments is probably going to be a Sunday morning or Sunday evening. And say that first Sunday, second Sunday, whatever, is our team's training day. Just like how many of you run fire departments, same day, every month, every week, you meet at the fire department. And it's your responsibility to be there.
yeah.
And we took this responsibility to be here today and to be here on this team. We need to take that responsibility to make that training day. And if you work that day, you work that day. You know, be kind enough to say that you're not gonna be there because you're at work.
Are you saying, thinking maybe adjust both of them to Sundays? So we do 2 Sundays that we have a training available?
Right now, what I'm thinking is,
Cause otherwise I don't see what's different
I
from what we have.
don't wanna do 2 Sundays. I'm thinking
Yeah.
since in the beginning, what we looked at was same training, twice a month, so we can accommodate everybody so they can make one or the other. So a year and a half ago, we were okay with training once a month. An aspect of how we designed that system. So the blank Sunday of every month is our training day. Whether we do it mornings, evenings, that's our training day. And then if we continue to do better and we do better, then if we want to go to one more day, I know,
Okay, but how is that different than what we have now, Jay?
because we're gonna do one Sunday a month
Instead of two.
instead of Tuesday.
Instead of a Sunday and a Tuesday.
We're gonna do one Sunday a month, and we as a group, what I'm asking this group, I'm not telling you, I'm asking you to make that commitment, that, okay, that becomes our training day for our team.
Jay, how big a hassle is that if you're there in the morning and you stay? Is it less hassle than coming back later in the evening?
Personally, what I will do is I don't want you guys to try to schedule the training around
Well, I think-
my canine training, because if we schedule around my canine training, we start at 10, by the time we're done, it's 1 or 2, and now I'm hitting the middle of your Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me to stay, but it's easier for me to say, all right, team training is at 6 o'clock tonight. Today, we're gonna train canines at 4 instead of our 10.
So.
Okay.
it's
And I run into,
I got
then
you.
I run into our training.
So stay on that
And
block
then
is not-
depending on knowing what training is, I may not have to have canine training, because we may be incorporating in with team training that night. So don't do it around the canine will work around the team. You guys are our team, the canines are tools. I don't want you guys to make exceptions for us. We will work around you, or we just won't have training that day. I mean, we already try to do, hopefully starting next Sunday, every Sunday the rest of the summer. I think sticking with a Sunday evening, is the best day that we're all gonna agree upon. I know it's summer and that kinda is shitty, and, you know, I'd rather be sitting next to my pool and whatever. But I don't think we're gonna pick a day during the week that's gonna work.
If we do a Tuesday, third Tuesday of the week's best for me, just cause that's our work detail at the station.
Well, and as
And I'm
it is
good
right
with
now,
the first
every other month, Tuesday runs into PCFA.
That's true.
Which for a couple of meetings there, like, I think we had like 3 in a row, where we just matched up the team meeting, training at the MAC at the same time.
Yeah, and every other month, I have to be, he has to be there. It's good for him to be there, so
Yeah.
so that's and I'm okay with Tuesdays, I'm okay, but I can't do second and fourth Tuesdays.
Right.
So I mean, it's just one of those that I'll just kinda.
Which is why we went with third.
But I know Sundays, like I know certain people in the summer that they have a tradition that they do every Sunday, and that's what they do. And I'm not asking,
And I'm that guy, and on Sundays in general, you know, I work every third Sunday. Sundays for me are family time.
yeah.
Damn
so-
straight.
And at 6 o'clock is dinner. So,
Yeah,
so you know,
exactly.
that's a family thing that we try
So what,
to continue that. and
so
it's
if we
just
did,
hard.
As long as you can't, that's.
if I did a Survey Monkey that went out to everybody, and we reevaluated time slots, do you think that would be worth it?
And I mean, we can still do like Saturday mornings or
Yeah.
something, yeah, I mean,
So 2023, why don't we record the training and then offer the training, that anybody can take during the month?
You know what, though? You can't just watch training.
Well, I mean, if you can't make training, which is the ideal, I mean,
How are we gonna
I can
record,
every
how are we
Sunday.
gonna record a field training and then you watch that?
Have somebody with a camera guy.
Nah, I'm not going there. I will stand on that rock till I die.
yeah, and a nature of our business is what we do is 75% teamwork.
And,
We
and
need
I've,
that-
and
need
I've
that
sent out
together.
free trainings on all kinds of different things that nobody does. I said, hey, can you guys, look, we can't do anything right now, weather, or, you know, we have to cancel. Here, please do this in its place, and I get one person that does it.
So, I think picking a day, even
So-
if it's a Saturday morning, I just throw Sunday out there, but even if it's a Saturday, if it's a Thursday, if it is whatever, and,
So I'll send a Survey Monkey, so you get a link to it, you put your name in there, and basically what it does is it takes a look at, helps us do another analysis of best available. There's no way, we've said this like multiple times over the years, that there will be one day that works for everybody. We get that. That's okay. So it'll be what works the best for the most, and then we'll go from there, and then we'll make sure everybody's in the loop.
and I think picking something other than a Sunday would be beneficial too, cause then, like I said, we train every Sunday the dogs, so if you can't make a team training that month,
Yeah.
you got every Sunday that you can come out and participate with the dogs, even if it's just going and hiding and helping us, you're still training.
So then, that comes back to how many do you need to make a year? Or how many hours? I mean,
So I was looking at suggesting 6 team training sessions
6?
was that's 50%, and that might be too much. I don't know,
It's a place to start, which right now we don't have.
and, you know,
So,
I like that. I like
and
that.
team training could be one that we send out that, hey, you gotta do this
Yeah.
online class, cause I got an autism one I'm gonna be sending out to you guys, asking you to do it. And it's a really good class that some people are working on, but even if it's not making it on a Saturday, if it is a class that we can send out, or you go to one of the training ones or whatever, at least 6 sessions. But again, as I've said completely over, I want, before Micah commits and all this, are you guys committing to that? Are you guys willing, if it's a day that doesn't interrupt with what already goes on in your life, your job, your fire department, your family, that you're willing to put in that one day a month to be a better team? That's what I want. If you're not willing to put in that one day a month to be a better team, we're still gonna be in this mess that we're in next year.
Yep.
So your thought on that, Jay, is if I cannot make Sunday next month, will you count a day in the woods with you as that?
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, I already
I'm
do.
just, I'm just weighing
I
it
already
right now.
will.
Yeah.
And I have been.
I don't wanna see somebody's all of 6 training sessions be with me in the woods, but if you miss
I
one,
don't want that either.
come run in the woods with us.
It's
And
It
to
is
make
fun.
up the training that you missed. Because I mean, all that's gonna happen is if you come running me with the woods all the time, it's gonna go from 6 to 8, then to 10, and we don't.
Right.
So-
And that already supports what I've already been doing with people, if you do something on your VFD training night that directly supports what we do, you do first, you do CPR refresher, awesome, stick that in the training tracker. People who go and do training with play bait for the canines, put it in the training tracker. I've already been tracking that and counting that. But we still have people who have no.
I like Jay's suggestion of 6. I think that's a reasonable number.
And,
Especially with the Sundays, that's gonna be available if someone can't make it.
and again, this is gonna be in an SOG, which is something that can be massaged to fit versus, a 3/4 majority vote to do it or whatever. Okay, so we'll start with 6 team trainings. So then a team training is something that we have scheduled, and it's at a place and we do, or it's in lieu of this month, please do this. Does that make sense? So we'll define that.
Or it could be one of the classes that are on the training bylaw or SOP.
Yeah, totally. And that's the other thing too, is, we'll knock out, a 16-hour training this month for one of the things to meet the training requirement. Just rock on. That counts.
Well, you spend 4 to 6 weekends going to a class, I don't expect you to have to
Yeah.
come to a team training for the next couple months. Why?
But I do
Already
expect to hear from you,
Well, right,
not fall off.
communication is key.
Say, hey, remember I just did that class, get you next month. That's okay, but of course more is gooder. So, alright, so we'll try that, so we'll put some draft language together and send that around, for folks to eyeball. I'll put it in band, it's something to look at and give everybody's input on, and we'll go from there. We'll start with that and we'll see what happens. Alright, so that's most of the bylaws update / new SOG talk. We'll work that stuff out. I've got a copy of the bylaws, I think that I made into Word, that I started like editing and pulling stuff out. I'll try to put that one up so you guys can see the notes on that. Cause I literally said I'll line it out and say, put it in an SOG, just so we can make that slim enough that we're not tying our hands, but, enough that it actually makes sense too. In the email that I put out talking about tonight, we talked a little bit about, truck checks and doing that regular. That's something that we've identified. We've had a handful of times we've gone to get the rig and it's dead. Who knows the code to the box where the spare key's at? You guys, we'll go up there and go to it, okay? Things like that, just making sure we're checking that, checking the battery status. Because it's close to my work, I shouldn't run over there all the time. I don't say, hey Jay, go do it, cause he's got a fire department to run Monday through Friday during the day, So I go over there and I check all the time, but I think we talked that.
Run from the fire department.
That too. In order to get folks more familiar with it, we would like to figure out a way to do some sort of truck checks. And have somebody coordinate that, not me. So some sort of a rotation, and we'll come up with a checklist, and most of it's gonna be fire the dang thing up, check the fluids, wash it if it needs it, key up all the radios, so they touch that, we already got a got told some of our radios on the bad boy list because they haven't keyed up and touched the system in a while. So do that, you know, see if anything needs to be fixed, cleaned. Fire up the computer, make sure you know how to, you know, connect it to the internet and run SAR-Capo or something. Nothing, you know, nothing that takes more than an hour, probably more like 20 to 30 minutes. And then that just keep our equipment running all the time, keep batteries fresh. The truck right now, the Tahoe itself, does not plug into the wall. It could. We actually need to follow up on that. That was a note from our business meeting. But the trailer does, you know, so we still have to check and make sure that that trickle charger is charging those batteries properly, they're fully juiced. Turn the switch on for the batteries.
Can I make a suggestion on that?
Yes,
Since
definitely.
we're going to hopefully be doing monthly trainings, can we just incorporate that into our post-training?
Okay, but then what happens when our training ends up being an online thing?
Well, then we have to do some sort of check on
We
it,
need to
but-
get people more, look, I can count on one hand the number of people that right now can go, get to that truck, grab the keys, fire it up, and take it somewhere. More people need to be familiar with
Well,
what's on
I
it,
agree with
what's
that,
in it.
and that might even be partly of assigning people to grab at the mornings of training.
Well, and we've actually done trainings on it, but then it's the same people that show up.
Most people drive it all the time.
What's that?
It's just people that drive it all the time. Honestly, I can barely tell you where the keys are in my own station.
Well, I hope you know where they're at, cause then by the back door, they got a,
I don't know, they
Sarkees logo keychain.
They rotate from door to door at times, I'm like, what's going on here?
Uh-huh.
Now the old Tahoe keys are there to confuse you.
Yes, so, okay, so let's work our way through that. Throw us some ideas out, okay? And please, we ask for, I ask for ideas all the time. Give us some input, okay? If there's ever a time when you're like, you know what, I got some free time, let's see, you know, go stop in and, you know, you see him parked there, dog or whatever, or you're like, hey, I got some free time tomorrow afternoon. Can I get in there and, you know, yes, let us know, no problem, okay? But we do need to just get more consistent with that. I said, one time I know it was dead to go to an event, a call out, that was in Michigan City one last spring. A couple times it's been dead to go to a training. We've made do, but we just gotta make sure that we're checking regular, firing it up. More people are familiar with it.
Well, we just bought a $250 battery, we need to make sure it charges, so we don't have to buy another one next year.
Exactly. For those who are not so familiar with driving a Tahoe with a big trailer on it, we can schedule some time to go do that. Okay, 'cause if you haven't driven that thing with the trailer on it, it's a little fun going down the road in the wind.
Yeah, it was quite a experience.
It's gotta be better than the other one.
It's gotta be better than the other
Who
one.
took the other one to Lafayette or whatever, not Lafayette,
Let's
Rensselaer
jam,
or whatever.
drove it down to like
Yeah.
White County or some shit like that.
$90 round trip.
Be 120 today.
It would be better
Yeah.
for me today. Alright, so we'll semi-table the truck check, although we still need to figure something out to be more consistent, but we'll chalk it up for now to what will soon be the monthly regular training. Okay, but I'm open to people checking on a regular basis voluntarily, just let us know.
Yeah, come by and learn the truck, I mean, I am there all the time, so I can let you in, I'll give you the code.
Maybe have like a sign-in roster.
That's a great
somewhere
idea.
on the-
You know what, I acquired some clipboards to put in there for some other stuff. So I'll put one on the inside of the door for, you know, swung by and checked it.
So you don't have, you know,
Yeah.
oh, everybody's gone home now, I'm going starting the truck because you asked them to, and you get 10 people one day starting the truck.
Well, that was one of the things that we talked about, trying to do like a monthly or like once a month. But then we could see somebody like checking on the last day of their period, and then the next person comes and checks it 2 days later. And then it goes like almost 4 weeks before the next check again, so. But yeah, I think that's a really good idea, clipboard on the inside.
You need to grab it on Sundays on the way to dog training.
Which I've tried to do, I've tried to do that a bunch of times, take it over there, especially if it's gonna be crappy weather, 'cause, you know, then put the awning out and, you know.
Well, I've got some dog friendly stuff that I'm gonna throw in there too, the
Yes.
additional cage, water bowls, first aid kit, stuff like that, that I need to
Yeah.
get in there.
You know, so like last year, you know, we did, I think it was probably last spring, when we, went and we pulled everything out of it and we cleaned it, and that was just a good day. We went through it and tossed stuff, and some folks got familiar with a few other things, and, you know, there's been some updates to it since then, like getting a new Tahoe, so,
What is your goal, weekly, monthly? every
you know,
two weeks?
if it gets fired up and people are eyeballing it every couple weeks, I think we're doing really good, you know?
think a monthly check on it for fluids, we need to
Monthly
make
for
sure.
fluids and
We
these-
need to figure out, but with that said, if we get the charger we talked about, which I can just order that, especially knowing what's in our account now, it's $100 charger, and get the extension cords where it's plugged in, where that's charging and the truck's charging, I guarantee you, she'll start every time you go to start her.
Yeah.
As long as she's plugged in.
What does it have to be, she?
All my vehicles are girls. What? Seen pictures of my old ladies on Facebook. Anyway, we'll have a much better reliability out of it with the good trickle charger in it. So I found ones I've been putting in all my fire engines that are inexpensive. I mean, they're $100, but
Yeah, and we had that
they will
discussion.
condition the battery, they'll do everything, they're great.
So we'll follow up with that. And if somebody gets a bug on the button, wants to go do it, like I said, let us know. And then we can also put up, hey, we're gonna be going over and doing a truck check, if anybody else wants to come along, spontaneously, 2 or 3 people show up, there's nothing wrong with that. Alright, so we'll stick a fork in that. Grants. I generally try to let you guys know when we apply for grants. We've applied for a bunch of stuff over the last couple of years. We have, in the history of our team, received 2 grants. One got us 300 whistles. For the Hug a Tree program, which we haven't even taught in like 2.5 years, nobody's asked for it. I actually need to get more whistles, cause we need more stuff to pass out this year at the MAC. And the other grant was the one that got us the helmets and the Stokes basket and the wheel. We have applied for grants from NIPSCO, from the Subaru grant, the Firehouse Subs grant, the Porter County Foundation. I think everybody's probably turned this down twice now.
Need to do skip highway.
Is our 501(c)(3) paperwork up to date?
It's gonna be, once I pull the trigger on the form.
Cause once we have that, I can.
Yes.
bounce NIPSCO money.
Yes, so, I actually was in that today. So, yes, we had 501(c)(3). This guy didn't file the right form 3 years in a row and they pulled it. But because it was accidental, it went in my junk mail, we can reapply. So that's not a big a deal. I don't know, honestly, the only grant that I've actually ever cared about any status like that was the Homeland Security Foundation one. And really, it wasn't even that, it was that we needed to apply as a special team of the Fire Association, because we didn't account ourselves, so there hasn't been any grant that's really cared, but it is.
It's when they give you the money that they'll question, they'll want the paperwork. But like I said, the skip, you need to.
Which is something for down the road, hitting up the Skip Highway Foundation.
They just got $1,000 for the FIS team in like 48 hours.
Yeah, so, I mean, cause I'll tell you, just like my wife knows, there's always something I want. There's some stuff I'd like to get us that would help with things, but there's costs involved.
Have you tried
One of
to-
them's a subscription program, so.
Have you tried Edinbridge? They always like to give money out.
I don't know if I've done Enbridge or not.
I like to get pickup trucks.
Yeah, Bill's team got that one that time.
So far,
Yeah.
so far I'm 2 for 2 on, actually 3 for 3 on getting free trucks, so.
I don't know if I'd count your first one.
Well, it's better than, hey, we made money off of it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So, cause we got the ambulance for free, which we had eventually sold, we got the white Tahoe for free, which we're gonna sell. And anybody wanna buy Tahoe, and then the black Tahoe we got for free, so 3 for 3 on that. But yes, on Edinbridge Foundation
Some
grant.
cars for kids over here.
Yeah. So if anybody else sees anything, big or small, let us know. I know we've done some community organizations have done some grants for us. Made some donations for us. If there's some sort of community foundation that wants a spiel, let me know. Obviously I can stand in front of random people and talk their ear off until they make me go away by writing a check. pretty good. But also gets the word out on what we do.
I got this one, will you stop the meeting and walk away if I give it to you?
Is that the one from her,
I'm not gonna tell,
or the one from him?
I'm not telling.
It's got my, wait a minute, it's got my name on it?
It's, right now, it's a plain envelope, it's a mystery box, take your chances.
No.
It's not mine.
Although we are probably only going about another 20 minutes tops, maybe 30.
You're not helping!
Sorry, now I wanna know, I'm intrigued.
So if you see stuff, let us know, bring it up. One group that I haven't really hit, and I've kinda wanted to, is some of the unions, cause they always seem to be giving money away. So, I don't know if you guys have any ins with any of the labor unions, but, I'd love to hit
What do you
that
wanna
up.
tell them?
Huh?
What do you wanna tell them?
How much they need to help us and support us?
Okay.
I mean, depends on what they wanna know.
What's your spiel for them?
Well, it depends on who the audience is. My spiel changes for the audience.
Okay.
So, you know, if it's the labor unions, we're a bunch of blue collar,
Rednecks.
work
Okay.
boot wearing, truck driving, gall dang hard working folks.
And we're all members of a union somewhere.
Except for me, cause I work for the feds.
Offended by that.
Anyway, so let's see. Okay, so the next thing is less of an us and more of a me. For you. So, you guys know I spent 20 years in the Army. My last fun job was as a company commander, and my job was to lead. I had 75 dudes, millions of dollars worth of equipment, and we went places and we did shit, we blew shit up. Well, part of that was me making sure that my expectations to all my soldiers was very clear. Now, the way I talked, I gave those expectations was quite unique. I had fake motivational posters that were framed around my office door. Some of those actually apply here, like have fun with whatever you're doing. If you're not having fun, go do something else. But as we take this team and we move on, expectations are important. And so I was participating in a discussion online where somebody said, if you were to do it all over again, what would be one thing you would add to your new member experience when you bring new members on the team? And I said expectations. Expectations from the members to the team and from the team leadership to those members. And I'm working on that document and I'm gonna sign it and I'm gonna send it to y'all. I'm just gonna say what I expect from you and what you should expect from me and the rest of the leadership of the team. And I want some input on that. Got some ideas. One of them is clear language discussion and feedback, and that's a two-way discussion. One is, as we spend money, we'll let you know, because that was something that was pointed out we gotta do better at. And then the second part of that, it kind of goes to some of this other stuff we've talking about training and commitment, but it's less an SOG and more of a, we're gonna make this good and do what we do. Not all you guys know, we get phone calls from lots of places to go do lots of different things. I had a former student that was in a class that some of you were in, who was a retired sheriff from Northern Michigan, who said, I want you to come up here and teach, because what you guys are doing is good, and we wanna teach these people. I went to East Jordan, taught this RIA class in the middle of fucking blizzard. It was awesome. Those people wanna do more stuff. Will County, Illinois, their SAR team, who we actually originally stole stuff from when we got started years and years ago, they want me to come over there, and some of you are probably gonna have to go with me to do it, and teach, the 32-hour, close to 40-hour search management class. People seeing what we're doing, and they're paying attention. But in order, so that means we're doing good things, but we're gonna keep doing gooder. And part of that is my commitment to you guys of what you can expect from me, but then it's also what I expect from you. Most of that's just communication and dedication. And I think our coins, for those who haven't seen it, if you came in late, I got one of these for you right here. It says for dedication to excellence and service to community. And god dang, people, we've done some crazy shit. I mean, didn't know we've helped put people in jail, doing evidence searches. We found a lot of people. You know, Jay and I were at Chesterton High School yesterday, for those who didn't see that Facebook post. And we were in one of the SROs, their school resource officers teaches a public safety class. And I was able to tell those kids, I said, you know what, in about the 140 or 150 calls we've had since January of 2015, there's only 2 people from one case who still haven't been recovered. I think not every day the FBI calls us and says, hey, we need your help, or we get phone calls from other places saying, can you help with this? So we're doing good, but that just means we need to keep doing good, and you're gonna have that in writing from me, how we're gonna go about doing it. So, I meant to have it tonight, just like I meant to have the liability forms, but I got slammed this afternoon at the day job, so. Expect to see that, which means expect to see a bunch of emails.
Wouldn't expect any less.
Exactly, but as Andy knows, even a reply with a poop emoji is okay, cause it's still a reply.
Get some off your back.
So, is there any new business for the good of the order? See how I put those two things together? Is there anybody that's got anything we need to talk through, or, hey, what about this, or I got a great idea, or, hey, this bug crawled up my butt, it's been bothering me?
I got a new puppy that's gonna start young to learn how to do this.
Okay,
Samoka got in kinda old and
Yeah.
all the, everything that's happened with COVID and stuff,
so, on those lines, we've got some people in here who other people have never met. So normally we do this at the beginning of an event, but we're gonna close the meeting here in a minute or three. And then we're gonna do some introductions and some, you know, backpack, because we get a lot of people who have never met. So is there anything else for the business meeting? We have,
I would like to know, like, you guys went to that class yesterday, and not that I necessarily want to go, I just wanna know what you're doing.
cool, okay.
So, I mean-
No problem. You know, I dropped that as a
Yeah,
band thing,
just say,
saying,
hey,
hey, what
you
we're
know,
doing.
we were invited to do
Yeah.
this, and,
Yeah.
you know, this is what we're gonna teach,
Yep.
and.
So, so that was the second time, I think the second time we've both gone, but the first time we've gone together.
Yeah.
And so it was two classes, each class had about 20 kids in it, it's high school kids. Chris Swickard, he's one of the Chesterton Police Sergeants, he's one of the school resource officers. He brings in outside speakers all the time, like last week, he had a conservation officer in. Tomorrow and Friday, he's got Chesterton Fire coming in and talking to the kids. And so, one of the presentations that we put together early on that talks about some of the things that brought us together as a team, we use that. Talk about, how not all canines are created equal, and I use a picture of somebody's little dog. We talked a little bit about lost person behavior and how there's some math and science that goes in that. Show them a bit of the, you know, mapping and how we think, our processes. Actually, whether they know it or not, those kids are getting some SAR initial actions in that spiel. Lots of answering questions. We took dogs out and did a demo. Recon came into class. I think they wore him out, cause by the end of that second class, he was laying down, and that was the picture I put on
Picture, yeah,
Facebook.
it was on Facebook.
The rest of the time he was whining. He made friends and then he whined when they left. It was that was the, you guys, it was the best thing. So I'm up there talking and pointing at the presentation, looking at all the kids, and you'd see Recon's head pop up from behind the desk, and then he'd like jump up on somebody and lick their face. The girls were like, oh, he's so cute. The boys were like, rah. It was pretty cool.
Well, one was a little aggravating because they kept bouncing the ball in his head because he was sleeping.
There were several that were sleeping in the second class that had targeted tennis balls thrown at them. That was awesome. I think Swickard appreciated that as well. So we went outside. Jay switched dogs. Jacob came out, and I did a simple runaway and went and hid, and then got barked at and threw my tennis ball and good boy. And then all the kids were excited and we went back inside because it was freezing cold.
Was that you or the dog that did that?
Did what part?
With JP tennis ball?
I didn't throw that ball.
I threw the tennis ball when the dog
okay.
found me, and I said,
Oh.
good boy!
Yeah, oh.
And then we went back inside because it was cold.
You know, if you came out on Sundays and.
I was
Oh! Snap! Okay, so yeah, as we're doing more stuff, I'll make sure that, yeah,
Shots
She's
fired.
got an excuse right now.
Oh, okay.
so. Anything else?
I got an idea. Maybe it's a bad idea, but it's my idea. So, you're familiar with task forces.
Yes.
Why don't you formulate and print a task book with all of the available thoughts that you have for the training for these people to accomplish? So if they go to some place and they do something, they at least have a
So
written record. I'm not,
Oh,
I'm
no,
okay
you're-
with the electronic thing.
You're
but-
thinking kind of what I was thinking too. So I was thinking, especially for like, when we bring a new member in, we say, hey, we want you to do this in the first 6 months.
Here's your core.
And here's the next, some sort of a task book. Those seem to work really well, a task book, a job book, whatever you wanna call it. And some of it too is like, would be like, you know, learn how to set the trailer up. That doesn't need to be me, but whoever shows them signs off. So, you know, there's training requirements, like we want you to get these classes done, but I definitely think we'll probably add to, you need to do this, you need to come, you need to be baked for the canines at least once to see how that works. You need to, you know, go through, set up the trailer, you need to set up your gear and show somebody what you've got and how your stuff's good. And I think that's a good idea. I was thinking that, but I think now it's coming into a bigger thing.
Well-
You can help me with it.
I'm a printed format kind of person.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And, you know, I look at the band thing and then I get confused, because I can't tell what's the most recent.
Yeah,
Maybe
whatever's
I
the top.
struggle with that app too for some reason.
Yeah,
The-
you know,
Can't
if you
even
can
get back
lock
on
some of
it.
the.
I signed on it and I can't get on it
That's at the
anymore.
end.
Yeah.
And highlight the newest, and then when, you know,
Oh,
you think
that's
you've got a
setting.
good read report.
Like every time training comes up that Dom's doing it.
Cause he set the dates.
Yeah, so I'm like, what is Dom setting training, what, and then.
I keep reading
I'll
about
see
the
if I-
uniform store.
Well, that's cause it's pinned at the top, so that you can't lose it.
So highlight it and bury it.
Well, it's like, I mean, honestly, guys, really, it works like a private Facebook group.
Yeah,
Like,
I
probably
mean,
a private Facebook group, that people can get
Okay.
in. So, and it's got better file storage, I think, and attendance.
Another comment, I haven't talked to Buster, I still wanna beat on him on the radios and on the, inflatable, or the deflatable mattress.
Yeah.
I haven't got a commitment out of either one of the people that mentioned it to me.
Do I need to start beating on somebody, or are you gonna keep beating on
I
me?
was hoping that, I don't know, I don't think so.
Okay.
And I wanna make a comment about the radios, and you already touched on it. What we're finding out, if we have radios on the naughty list, you're not getting more radios.
Right, you
The
have,
state is not gonna give you another number.
they're not gonna give you a number.
So I agree, we've got radios out there that are being promised. If we've got radios on that list, they're not gonna activate them.
Okay.
But they will if you take a number from an old radio and put it into a new radio.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
We're
what you
not
got.
gonna give you any additional.
We didn't
Right.
buy anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
No, when
just
you,
gotta
when
touch
you
those.
recode the radio and take it from owning by Portage Fire Department, put it in Porter County SAR, they're gonna, the state IDAX, not
Would see
IDAX,
that.
IPSAC gives you an identification number for that radio.
Yeah.
I got
They're
you.
not giving you new numbers if you have old numbers that aren't being used.
Right.
Understood.
And a month ago, they sent out a naughty list, and some people were very naughty.
Well, I'll tell you, so I think our radios are still showing up under EMA, and I've asked them about 4 times, tell me what the numbers are on mine, so I can get them moved to take responsibility for them. Cause I'm clicking radios, it's counting for them, and
Well, and it's not an entire, one of the radios was a radio in my truck.
no shit.
I'm like, that's not even, I'm like, I just had used the radio months ago. So I know that was somehow a goober, and then they have a radio.
We found out the same thing at Shores. We purposely test our radios every month.
Yeah, we do the same
And we
thing.
had 12 radios that show that hadn't been used in over a year.
No way.
One of which is my radio, and I carry my radio every 3rd day at work, and that's the radio I use when I'm at work.
Okay,
So there's,
good to know.
I mean, it's still a safe system, but there's definitely a problem there somewhere. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's,
Yeah, one of my portables in my Chief Buggy, that's even worse, yours.
Yeah, well, and I think, so we'd have more use, but some of our radios that we have are kind of crashing. And it's not the batteries, it's the radios, it's a known problem with those older EFJs. So that's why even if we get into some used motos, that sets us up for success, and we'll use them more. So they would get used all the time. But then,
Okay.
the key would be me getting those moved from Lance to us too, which, that's a me thing to sort out with
All
him.
right.
But, yeah, but I mean, if we could get those and put them to use, we would get more use out of them than we have the current radios. So they're good, but the batteries only last so long. Programming the EF Johnsons that we have now is a serious pain, whereas I have the current APX software and a key. so I can program those at work. That's much easier to do than some of those older off brands, so
Okay.
we would use more,
Can you do the Motorola's?
yes. I've done half a year before.
I need you to come change some IDs, just IDs.
Okay.
So I'd be curious, newer guy, obviously you're starting to develop things and you're kind of starting with the
We're redeveloping.
redeveloping.
This is more reorganization.
Training expectations, and I think that's, I'm curious, just your opinion,
Oh, boy.
if the discussion had gone farther to actual call-out participation. You might get somebody that decides to do their 6 trainings through the summertime and Sunday afternoon and whatever, and you don't see them all year long because it's 3 o'clock in the morning, or it's cold, or whatever, so.
Cold is not an excuse.
What would be your thought on that, just even for discussion?
Well,
What would be
you
your
know, well,
expectation?
some of that is, so here's what my expectation is, and this is what I've kind of said since day one. If you'd get out of bed to go to, cause your volunteer agency calls you, then I would expect when we call you at that same type of time, you come to help us too.
Well, that means Joey's not serving from about
Yeah.
10 o'clock at night. till
Whatever you
10
do
o'clock
for
in the
them,
morning.
I would expect you to do for us. And I know it's different for everybody. I've been on some rewrites of bylaws that were related to things like that. But, you know, anybody here watch Letterkenny? Letterkenny? Of course. If a friend asks you for help, you help some. Well, that's it. When we get told in the middle of the night, in the middle of the afternoon, or middle of the day for help, it's one of our fellow agencies that needs our help, so you help them. That's my 2 cents on that.
Is it on the back of our coins?
I'll get that on the back of the coins, yeah,
The
yeah.
metal ones will have that.
The metal ones will have that, yeah. And then the other side will be a badge,
Yes.
not, all right. Anything else, anything officially business, then we'll close that and then we'll just have some BS. Yeah.
I wanna bring up the badges.
Strike that from the,
Make a
Didn't even
motion.
think of my pens.
Make
Okay.
a motion.
okay, on that note, if we get a motion to, I don't think we have any actual business,
Adjourn.
huh?
Well, you wanna-
So
you
moved.
wanna do
Yes, so, okay, all in favor of closing out the business meeting and then moving to a less formal, all in favor say aye? Opposed say no? Okay, good deal. So, if you didn't get one of these, come up here. And then the other people that need to come up here. You need to come up here, and you need to come up here, and you need to come up here. You almost got yours the other day. You were almost the first one. Almost. You didn't get one of these yet.
No.
But you saw what became the guys. So you got one of these. You did not get one of these yet.
I didn't.
Okay, so these are our 3, oh, hold on, whoa, Rich. Whoa. So these are, for those who don't know, our 3 newest members. So you gotta give yourself the 30-second elevator spiel.
So this is, I've always heard this a little dangerous with a whole bunch of firemen, but.
Oh!
it's,
He's
Only
going
if
there.
you start out by saying you're a cop.
He's going there.
So, Rich Malstad, I'm a reserve officer with Ogden Dunes Police
Oh,
Department.
we go.
Prior law enforcement many years ago. Actually, I started about when you started. I need to talk to you at some point in time. I recognize that name, so. But,
Both started
Did your
with-
certification retire?
Oh.
Mary's did, they had to give her a new one.
It did. I'd have to go back through the full police academy to do it full time. I ain't doing that.
Didn't expire, it retired.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, Rich has the floor.
It's retired.
Rich has the floor.
No, I think I'm done.
So Rich is sponsored from OD PD as the reserve officer, so he's our first cop.
Ooh.
Almost, we're almost our second. We had one before, but
Yeah?
he was a full timer, and the merit board said, I don't think so.
Is that right?
So, Park Service guy.
No,
Wyman?
Yeah.
no, not him,
No.
no. It was before that.
I thought he was a
Yeah.
LE.
Yeah, he
was
was,
really- he was
but,
like-
but he
he
didn't,
wasn't
no, his
official.
but his DFD sponsored him here.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so that's Rich. But say hi, Rich.
Hi, Rich.
Hi.
Okay, next.
This is a AA meeting?
You don't, look, if she tries to give you the little voice,
Yeah,
I'm
don't
just
let her
waiting
fool
for them
you.
to quiet down. Okay.
Don't let her fool you.
So my name's Elizabeth, I have a K9 Desi. I've been training the dog continuously since 2017 in search. I've been here actually, believe it or not, since 2020. when I started in September with Jay.
Yep.
So just an idea, like in 2021, I made 20 trainings. 2022 made like 16, and this year only 2 because Desi's on injury leave.
How's she doing?
How's she doing?
She's okay. Everyth's still broken. We got X-rays a couple
No,
days
it
ago.
was her paws, right?
Yeah, both
So-
left paws.
So those who don't know, so Elizabeth and her husband and their daughters live in Chicago, and Desi was the unfortunate target of a walk-by slash kind
yep.
of shooting. She got shot at.
With a 9mm that exploded between all 4 paws, hit the ground, must've been a hollow tip or something, exploded, hit all 4 feet. Gathered it up, did all my canine first aid skills. Not a circumstance I wanted to do that under, but we
Yeah.
did it and got her to the vet, and 2 paws are shattered, still has shrapnel in all 4 feet. They show up really well in the x-rays, and so I'm basically at home doing PT all the time, trying now to just get her mobile and moving around. But everything's still a little broken after 10 weeks.
And Desi's a big dog that doesn't like to sit still,
She's 96 pounds.
so, yeah,
All muscle.
yeah,
Well, not as much anymore.
Right.
She's been sitting around for 10 years.
she'll get it back.
Yeah,
So,
hope so.
cool,
Yeah.
awesome.
Give her a hug for me.
I will.
And then we have Herb.
Hi.
Oh, I don't know this guy.
I started with Jay almost 2 years ago with K9 Search and Rescue. Retired from Chicago Fire Department as a medic, and I do stuff.
His wife does stuff for us too.
Oh yes, you two had a great reunion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just watch out that you don't give his wife your phone number. She'll text you crazy memes, 24/7. My phone beeps, my wife will text, so it's just Marie, don't worry about it.
So that's training.
I get the worst of them because I'm on the same group with him.
Yeah, too, so anyway, so thanks. So yeah, so that's that. Dr. Wunsch, what are you else? Thanks for coming tonight, guys. This is, can we try to get like a group photo?
Don't you wanna do the introduction?
My hair's
or is
messed
that-
up,
is that-
sorry.
Oh, is there anybody else? Oh, yeah, I guess we'll.
Well, they don't know
We'll,
us.
we'll go, yeah, okay, all right, start over here in the corner.
Jeremiah,
Where are you from? Who sponsors you?
I'm your guys' Lake County guys, I'm from St. John Fire Department, Lake Hills volunteer,
He's the token Lake County guy, thank you.
and so, Lake Hills sponsors me,
Oh, hey, tell him where you went for fun.
it wasn't really fun. I went to Ukraine a couple weeks ago, for a medical, clinic stuff, and I helped a bunch of people out there, giving them meds and stuff.
Pretty kick ass.
Yeah, it was real interesting experience.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And I'm firefighter paramedic, it's my job. so-
We don't hold that part against you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Cool. We have Matt Herb. Let's go this way.
I'm Joe. I'm from Porter Fire today.
Worthless.
Ouch! He used to work for somebody else, now he works
Yeah,
for somebody else, but he still
left
volunteers
me.
for Porter.
He left us.
It's fine.
Ouch!
Better that way.
Better off.
Joe was with us, then he left for the East Coast and came back and enjoyed it so much, he came back to the team.
Well, he wants to see if he can get off on medical again for a while.
Well, no, he's fired before he fucking hits the ground. Now he's on my insurance.
Ouch! Ouch!
On a side note, I know we're doing introductions, but those of you that are on fire departments and you have workman's comp, make sure the workman's comp pays you and pays you appropriately, because my department found out the hard way, we only paid minimum wage.
Pays what?
Minimum wage.
Oh, really?
So I had a guy that got hurt and only got paid minimum wage while he was off work and not receiving a paycheck from his full-time job.
I can tell you if you're on union fire, theirs pays the best.
Well, now I've since adjusted. It only cost me like an extra $1,000 a year, but I've since adjusted it so it's not that way. But
They get paid $1 more an hour?
Oh my god.
I don't know if it's more than you.
Alright.
I made more
Pays
money.
what they make it work.
I will just say
Next.
on unions, I made more money while I was off work than I was working.
You work for Porter Hospital.
Yes, that could hurt.
Anyway, next.
Paul Rich,
No,
Washington
he
Township
showed
Fire.
up.
Here we
Yeah, we don't see Paul as much as we used to because he got married, had a baby, and now they're having another baby.
Why'd you do that?
Jeez.
I thought you were supposed to get a lot of money from them with taxes, it wasn't.
Negative.
It doesn't work out so well until they're older.
Yeah, it costs more money.
Yeah.
Take your money.
Then we have our Arctic Explorer, Antarctic Explorer.
George Hayes, South Haven, the firefighter, paramedic, captain over there, left
Used to be one of us too.
I see a pattern there. Lots of used to be one of us. Thank you.
Combat medic,
A bull rider.
all kinds of stuff, yeah.
So he's one of those guys that brings those weird outside
He wants to
experiences.
be.
He's extraordinary.
So I gotta tell you, you're not the only person I know who's gone to work the Antarctic.
I loved it.
You were actually there at the same time as a friend of mine who was down there as a fueler. The year, when she was down there, the previous time she was washing dishes. She was a wildland girl, worked for us. Then when she went down, she was there the same time you were. She was a fueler doing God knows what, dragging big fuel ladders and hoses and shit.
So my entire crew was wildland.
Yeah. Well, what else?
They
you
do
gonna
wildland, then they go to Antarctica, and then
Yeah.
they come back to do
Yeah,
wildland.
it's pretty standard. So. All right, the dwarf. I mean, gnome in the back.
No, that's better.
Gnome.
So are you taking me gnome tonight? Keith, I'm an alcoholic. That's it. That's all you need.
Oh shit. Keep going, my son's calling me, going in the army from Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm done. That's all you need to know.
Where are you from? Nobody knows where you're from or who you are.
Oh, sorry. There are actually people who don't know.
There
me.
are
actually people here that don't know me. Sorry. Name's Keith Austin, Division Fire Chief, retired from South Haven. 3 years ago. Did 25 years of active service. Worked for the state of Indiana for the fire marshal's office. Came to the team, I think, November last year. I think somewhere around.
And he's here to be the trailer gnome. Oh my God, I'm giving you a name tag that says trailer gnome.
I'll take it.
Because Keith's coming to us to be one of those sport dudes who can, help with accountability and tracking and, that's an important thing. As well as
Radio geek
other
too,
stuff.
so.
He's a nerd, yeah. So, that's, yeah, trailer gnome. Totally gonna make it, totally.
Did I have little cones that hang out from underneath that they dingo as you're driving down the road?
No.
If Jan can't have badges, you don't get cones.
Yeah. Next.
I'll get you your badges after I get the cones or vice versa. Jane.
Next.
Close enough.
Andy Hyman, full-time Portage, 24 years last week. Also Beverly Shores. You're old. Dude, I'm old as fuck.
Hey, I'm 23 at mine.
And do everything else, Fire Association, and.
So, yeah, for those who don't know, half of the Fire Association Executive Board is on the team. Cool.
I'm Jan, I'm a Brandon Canadian. Came to the team, I don't know, 3 years ago.
Oh, longer than that.
Yeah, it's been longer than that.
4?
Really? Is that long ago?
It's gotta be 4.
Washington Township, whenever that was.
It's been such a great journey.
What? It's been such a great journey? What is that?
No, it's good actually. I enjoy Sundays with the dogs.
Yeah.
Mostly. That's it.
Cool.
I'm Neil. I worked at the park with Micah as a wildland firefighter on Beverly Shores Fire. And, that's it. Been on the
so,
team for a little while.
So recognizing that we don't use real rank, though, Neil's one of our field team leaders. He's one of our senior guys, who is, if Jay's there, not there, I'm not there, Buster's not there, Mac there's not there. He's there, he's in charge.
Usually even if Jay's there, he's in charge.
Yeah, because Jay's following the dog.
She's out.
Yeah.
Jay's got it.
Yep. All right, well, come over to you guys.
I'm Tyler. I'm out of South Haven. I've been here like a little over a year.
Ish, yeah, give or take. I think maybe one of your first call-outs was last summer going into one of the trailer parks. So, something like that. Something like that, yeah. Yep, cool. I'm Tyler from South Haven. I like long walks on the beach.
Yeah. Naps.
I like naps.
Midday naps.
Oh, naps.
Naps.
I think it's naps. We like naps too.
No,
Oh.
midday naps.
Well, that's a given. You're
Coffee.
Coffee, yes, coffee.
okay. Thank you, Tyler.
I missed my cup today. It's still sitting on my desk. Yeah. I'm Mike McIntyre, sponsored through Ogden Dunes Fire. I'm a ski patroller, that's why you don't see me in the winter. I work Sundays. And been doing that since '79. Been a EMT and a firefighter for 22 years, ski patroller a lot longer. And do a lot of, I have been doing a lot of rope stuff at the ski area. I'm in charge of their ski lift evacuation plan and the training for it. And spring's coming, maybe summer, who knows? And I don't work Sunday, and I like the idea of Sunday, cause that gets me out of mowing the lawn.
You still gotta mow it at some point.
We had 2 houses, well, yeah, but you know, I can fit it in later. And, so for the last 25 years, I put a lot of projects on hold, and I'm an old guy, but I'm still fairly active.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Giant Clap House Fire. Ages.
Old as fuck.
County EMA.
Still been doing it less time than Mary though.
I mean, 3 years.
About
3
that.
years. So, hope I can start getting a little more active now since I'm kinda semi-retired.
Semi-retired.
Oh, I'm Trish Green, I'm with Ogden Dunes Fire. That's about it.
Oh,
you forgot the fact that you made it through your practical
Oh,
exam.
I did make it through my practical exam.
For EMT.
For EMT.
She almost failed my station.
I had gloves on.
Hey Trish.
Still gotta say it.
Morbius license, eh?
I am too old.
She invented the ambulance and she's still there.
That's not an insult. You can't.
Trish, tell them what you have at home that's small and has 4 legs.
Oh, I have a dog.
Eric.
I have a dog that I would like to get into SAR, and we're working really hard. She's a 1.5 years. We're working on name recall right now.
Hopefully soon you guys get things sorted and
She's got a good nose.
fix
Just
it.
has to figure it out.
whatever's gotta be
Everything
done.
else out.
Everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she likes to smell marijuana on Main Street.
She likes to smell marijuana in her street.
Yeah, like we've got a house, and
What street is
she always like
So we
goes
got
around the
on
car
this
really
topic.
slow, like.
Rich is like texting her doll.
Follow the dog.
That's probably Eric.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Jacob Cohen, firefighter, porter. About it.
Dude, it's more than about it. Jacob came to a training one time, years ago. I have a photo. You're in
He
it.
was real tiny
And we were I was like, who's this
He
dude?
never was tiny.
And then Jay's like, yeah, this guy wants to join the team. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see. Dude,
Here he is.
shows up.
Finally.
What do you finally? He's been with Mary. He's been here. You just haven't seen him.
Cause you tapped him.
However, we did learn that he cannot be responsible with my son and McIntyre at the same time and go out of the way.
I don't know who was watching who.
First time he lost my son at FDIC, this time he just went and got lost with my son.
Yeah, I wasn't in charge of your son at FDIC. Okay, didn't he take us through the thickest brush he could find?
Yep.
No, the
He's
kid
little, he
did?
went under it.
I know, we didn't. I still got cuts on my wrist.
He had a blast though.
He did.
Oh, yeah.
He even wheeled when we took Mike's kid who was the patient. We got him out of the basket and we just walked it back up. Jackson grabbed the wheel and was pushing it all the way through. That kid, he still had energy, man.
He wheeled it all the way back. I only wheeled it for a few feet while he was changing because he was getting hot. So he took his coat off. or
Yeah,
whatever.
that was impressive. So, come Mary.
I'm Mary. I'm with, kind of hang along with Porter Fire. I'm on the dive team there. I work full-time for, we won't tell you who, or maybe I'll tell you who, just not who our boss is. Been in EMS 45 years, and fire service 47, almost 48 years. And I got a pup that we somewhat trained, but she's getting old now. So I got my brand new puppy she does recall already, but anyway, she's doing good so far. We're gonna get her started, and Jay's got another pup to train.
Well, at least they're all gonna be ready about the same time. Recon is.
Well, that would be good. That would be cool. Suddenly we went from one dog that's got a certification that we use all the time, there's like 4 or 5 of them. That'd be kinda cool. So those who couldn't be here tonight, Don Malechek from Hebron, he's at, Real Job, he got called in tonight. Let's see, gonna die there or what?
Down the wrong pipe there, I guess.
Dying.
Need a cigarette a minute ago.
Cody Cahits from Union, Cody's got a dog. Cody just yesterday, according to the text, got released, he just had back surgery. So he just got released yesterday, he's back to work. And I replied back with, sweet, now get your ass to training with Jay so we can get you and your dog certified. He said, hell yeah. So Jay, expect to see him at training. Also not here tonight, Jerry Chef from Union, or Eigen Dunes. I think he was either out of town or, I forget what Jerry said.
We have a class, we're taking the community risk reduction.
Oh, yes, the community risk reduction
And I
class.
chose this,
Oh.
and Jerry's.
I see where you're,
Good call.
good for you.
Good call.
Priorities are.
Priorities.
Yeah.
And then the other person out here is Kevin Billingsley, also from, Couts. He texted earlier today, so I actually did get some input on some
He's
of the
been
stuff from
working
him
about
today.
7 days a week.
That's what he said, that's what we just
No,
learned that.
he's putting time in.
Yeah.
So, and so here's the thing,
Trade
like,
back the money.
if we don't see it cause you're like working your ass off,
Down there now.
just tell us, and we're like, oh yeah, that person's working their ass off, no wonder we haven't seen him for a while.
Nick Ayers is not here.
Oh yeah,
Just
I
thought
don't
about
know,
working your ass off.
I don't know, no clue where Nick
Well,
is.
he's got a baby coming, so he
I
probably.
don't know.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
scary.
That
He
just
says
means
he
you have
knows
to
that.
do something.
Read the news,
Jay,
that is
that he will
very
not be
scary.
here.
Oh,
If you got a baby coming, you had too
Says
much
he
time.
reached out to
in
you
it.
that he would not
Yeah.
see you.
I don't even know where this
Okay.
quote came from.
I gotta go.
you go.
I got a guy that's going home at 8 o'clock and can't leave till I get there. I'll type this up and send it to you. You can have the notes.
Yeah, I'll add in the, whatever needs to be added in. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just tell the guys to lock up when they, anybody
Yeah.
park in the back?
I did.
Okay, yeah, you guys can just walk through, so you don't have to go around and walk through, and then the guys will lock up when you guys leave.
Okay, yeah, we're not, oh, hey, here, dude, take these.
Are those your receipts?
These are my receipts.
To you?
Yes. So it's all the stuff that we used for the, well, the batteries in there, and it's receipts for the stuff that we bought for the,
I take them to the bank.
chili cook-off. Yes, yes. Just take the envelope, I don't need it.
No, let me.
I take them to the bank, he has the checkbook, I have the debit card.
Except for when I ask you for a picture. So AutoZone.
Well, it's Fort Bank, so it's around the corner from my house.
Gordon's is the, all the, so one of the Gordon's is actually, I took stuff back, so one of those is a credit back to me.
Okay.
So don't run me a check for one that's a credit back to me.
Okay.
So I already got it back, and then the engravables was the, trophy.
Going there.
Those who didn't come to the chili cook-off, man, you gotta come next year, cause, well,
It'd be bigger and better.
Liberty won, and somehow we gotta get some other department to get in on that and win.
Yeah.
The first annual, yes, that's the first annual.
It actually
Not
turned
this
out
conversation again.
much better than I had
Yeah.
anticipated.
Thanks, Buster.
So,
Yeah, I did, we made $1,000 off of that, when I expected to make like $200.
bigger and better.
So, yeah. So that will be a regular. All right, let's try to go get a group photo real quick and let's get the hell out of here.
We have to go unstuff that.
We'll all stand around Jay's truck. We might have a little bit of sunlight.
Hey, Micah,
Yes.
did you have something for Mike Evans?
No, I just walked towards garbage, getting one of those, and I'm gonna do certificates. I did one more thing I didn't choose.
What up, yeah?
Slammed through.
How we think
Yeah,
I
you
do
just
it?
have to
So,
tell me. He says
yeah,
that.
no, I was gonna send one of these with the certificate, but you take that. You drop that on him